Matisse?
Yes, Nabil.
Yeah, are we ready? We have 34 in the class.
We have 30 attendees in the class. So shall we wait a minute?
Yeah, I think we can wait a minute. But let me talk to the people we have here.
Everybody's already listening to you.
اوكي مساكم الله بالخير شباب. يعطيكم العافية. شكرا على الحضور في الوقت. اليوم محاضرة مع البروفيسور شبيلة اللي أرجوكم عشان التفاعل والاستفادة تكتبون الأسئلة إلى الأخ أحمد المترجم على الشات، والأخ أحمد سيقوم بترجمتها للمحاضر وبيجاوب عليها المحاضر وهو بيترجم لكم باللغة العربية. لا تبخلون على أي أحد بمعلوماتكم بملاحظاتكم. كتبوا الأسئلة على الشات شباب اللي عندكم علشان نستطيع أن نصل إلى الأشياء اللي أنتم تحتاجونها. المحاضر على مستوى عالي جدا، من أفضل محاضرين أوروبا في الاتحاد الأوروبي، وأعتقد أن فرصة الاستفادة منه ليس من المعلومة اللي يطرحها فقط، ولكن أيضا حتى من الإجابة على أسئلتكم. إحنا في يومنا الثالث، أتمنى لكم التوفيق، بنكون معاكم إن شاء الله. Matisse, I just explained to the participant, Professor Shabila, that they are free to write their questions on the chat, and Ahmed will translate to the lecturer and translate back to Arabic in the time we give them for discussion. But they can start writing their question while the lecture is on, and Ahmed will take care of it. So our third night, it is progress for us that we are continuing in the same enthusiasm and inshallah interest from all the participants. Shortly we will be all, but I think Matisse, Professor Shapila, we can start now. It is after 8:30 and we can start, please.
Okay, Nabil. Thank you for your intro into the seminar. So I welcome you all again to our third day of online courses. Today with us is again Dr. Marko Sibila, and he will take over. We'll have the same process as the last time that we did it. So we came to the half. We do a short break. After that, Marko will answer some questions if you'll have them, and then we continue with our seminar. Okay, so like we said, right into the question. If anybody needs the translating, you know where to press it. On the right corner, there is a box that says interpreter with the word icon on it. Okay, so Marko, the stage is yours. You can start.
Thank you very much. Just a moment that I share the screen. Matisse, I have disabled screen sharing. So I have to get your permission.
Just a second. Here you go. That should do it. Okay.
Yes, just a moment. I will just have to optimize the video sharing. Okay.
Okay.
I would just like to ask you if everything is okay with the presentation. If I can get a feedback.
Everything clear from my side.
Okay. Good evening to anyone. Once again, my today's presentation is at first glance a little bit theoretic, but I can assure you that it will be as much as practical because it is just the first impression that let's say so one-sidedness in various handball actions is something what is theoretically just in contrary. It is a real practical thing which we meet every day on our practices, so on training, and also we can observe that on the matches. How can we find out the one-sidedness of the handball press? First of all, we can see that many of the players have the problems when start to pass the ball with both hands, for example, or to bounce the ball with both hands. So we must develop by players so-called bilateral competencies. Just to clear out a little bit this term, what does it mean, bilateral competencies? It means the ability to use almost equally the both extremities, so left and right extremities. In case of the handball, normally it's our hand, it's our arm. When performing specific handball elements, so passing the ball, then perhaps sometimes even shooting to the goal, dribbling with the ball. So these elements should be almost equally executed with both extremities, and the second thing is that the players must be able to execute a movement to a preferred and non-preferred direction. That is very typically that you can see players who are much stronger, for example, it is valid for the right-handed players on their right side, so have a great finta, great movement to the right side, but to the left side they are much weaker, and it is not desirable. So this kind of bilateral competencies are for the modern handball, for the modern handball players, extremely important, and we must first of all know the basics. Why many of the players have these problems to play equally with both extremities, and why they have the problems to gain the space, no? to play in both directions, and not to be unilateral. No? That is in general the main explanation of this term bilateral competencies. Now, where is the real basics to explain these abilities? Development of so-called neuroscience in last years enable us to know a little bit in-depth and comprehensive treatment in motion patterns. So it means that we can explain sport techniques more in depth. So we know much more about the neuromuscular mechanisms which lead us to make a better or a worse performance in our sport techniques. So neuroscience in last years or last decades made a tremendous development, and give us the opportunity to get more in-depth overlook of the human movement, which is also the part of the sport techniques. So what does it mean? It means that the neuroscientists really make a lot of effort, no, to see almost inside the brains, no, and to see how our brains function, how's the functionality of our brains, and not just functionality of our brains, how our brains also serve to our muscles, how they give the signals, how they command our muscles, how they give us the opportunity, for example, to be better with the training. No? In this and these mechanisms are very important to understand. If we want to understand more in depth also our technique of movement and normally specific technique of handball. When I was a student, no, it was in the early 80s. I have on the faculty also a subject of skiing, no? and in that time, the first scientist, Austrian scientist, who was also the trainer in the skiing. No, he first time he published a book with the title "Skiing Right." No? And in this book, he first time tried to explain why some of the skiers, in his case, normally are much more skillful when they turn, for example, in left side than when they turn into the right side. So it means that even in the skiing, not just so in any kind of human movement. Now, even if we eat with a spoon, we have some this kind of lateral preferences. I will explain also this term a little bit later on. But you can see now easily from this pattern of skiing, how the skier are how these skiers make a turn in one side on the one way and on the other side with another way. And so he want to find out why it is so. So even so in Slovenia is like in almost all alpine countries, skiing is extremely popular. And when I was skiing, I completely naturally feel a little bit uncomfortable when I turn to one side in comparing to the other side. So when I turn to one side, it was a little bit less comfortable than when I turn to the other side. And it is so called. So it means that I was not the bilateral competent. So stronger on one side than on the other side. And then afterwards, normally I try, when I read this book and when I heard the explanation of the professors, then I start to think also about the handball, basketball, football, all these sport games, how this kind of brain functionality influence on our technique. So why we are stronger, for example, when we are performing the breakthrough to the right side, then to the left side, and so on. So all these things have neural basis. So we have to know that whenever we observe the technique, whenever we talk about the technique, whenever we speak about the technique, and as a consequence also on the tactic, we must know this so-called neurophysiological basis of learning. It means that we must know why, for example, some exercises or the way how we train influence on the technique and tactic of our players. So on one side we have maturating. So the players, just because they became older and they maturate, they're better and more skillful in performance their handle skills, no, or just I don't know, running, jumping, and so on. And on the other side we have learning. So maturating is one thing, but learning is another thing, and it is very important that we put right exercises on the right way in the certain periods of maturating, and then normally in the senior periods. So that's why with these new knowledges from neuroscience, we get the opportunity to link together the principles of classical European didactics. So it means a didactic which tell us how to train. So from the unknown to the from the already known skills to the unknown skills, for simple to the more complex, and so on. So these didactic principles were well known already from the 15th or 16th century. No, but there was very little knowledge what is the background Now, and today we have with this neurophysiological perspective, or neurophysiological knowledge, we can a very good tool to compare these things, these two things together, and we can see that even centuries ago, the theorists and practitioners of the didactic have a right approach how to teach and train the pupils and so on. Okay, whoops. Is something wrong now? Can you see once again the? Okay, so it means that brain constantly is changing through the life. No? So this ability to change is called plasticity. The brain and the whole nervous system has this ability, which is very important for the humans in general, and for the sport especially. So there are various mechanisms of the plasticity of the brain, of which the most important is the synaptic plasticity. It means that during our lives, especially with the good training, the neurons can change their communication. So more we train, more we learn, better synaptic collaboration we can develop. So it is very important that this is not just the something which is already defined with our genotypes. No, it could be very good also changed during our lives, especially with the good training. It is not valid just for the sport or for the handball. It's valid also for many other professions. So synaptic links begin to change when we respond to the environment. It is the most important thing. So new synapses or synapsogenesis are created. Useful connections are strengthened, and those that are used less often become weaker or even lost. It means if we train good, then we will develop a lot of new synapses, so-called synaptogenesis, which are very useful. Then our techniques will be stronger. That's why it's also very important that we teach our players from the early beginning a very correct technique. I will try to explain it a little bit more afterwards. So the top of the hierarchy is always the motor cortex. Motor cortex is somehow the leader of every movement of the human body. And then the cerebral cortex, 10,000 cells carry an amazing number of calculations for each movement element. So all these signals which are coming from the motor cortex are going through the nervous to the muscles, and that ensure that the movements is carried out smoothly and skillfully. So it's like it could be explained like a machine which is computer guided. So in developmental psychology, in the developmental biology, we have another very important term which is called critical period, and it is a period of maturity in the life of an organism in which the nervous system is particularly sensitive to a certain environmental stimuli. Now it means that for example, if when the child start to walk, just to stand on their legs, it is a period, I don't know, for example, from 10 months to the 13, 14 months. It is so-called sensitive period. In this period, the organism is especially sensitive for this environmental stimulus. So if in this period, from any case, the the particular person cannot gain this stimuli from the environment, and then can begin some problems. And we can know that many times arise some problems with maturity in many different ways. So in developmental science, we can define the periods in the developmental from the first or from the birth to 6 months, then to 12 months, to 14 months, 2-3 years, and so on. So the sensitive periods is always the period when the organism is especially sensitive to the environmental stimulus. And it is not valid just from this early beginning of the human life. It is very important also and in the next stage of the developmental, so in adolescent and so on, especially normally for the sport technique. Then some research is also distinguished between the critical and sensitive periods. What does it mean? It means the sensitive period is considered as so the critical period is the period when normally starts some functions of the in maturity, and the sensitive period is somehow the period which is considered as an extension of this critical period. So it means that if somebody don't walk at 12 months, it doesn't mean that he won't walk or that there is something wrong. Perhaps just he has a little bit more prolonged this sensitive period, and then he will immediately after 1 or 2 months start to walk. No, and it is valid also for all other functions. No. Then one good example is a critical period for the development of the child's biocular vision. Now it is this so-called critical period is of ages of 3 to 8 months, but it may be extended with a sensitive period to the 3 years of age. So this biocular view or biocular vision could be postponed to the 3rd year, and it is nothing wrong. It is the same. It is not something what we can call that it is dysfunctionalities of the in the human organism. So we must distinguish between critical and also sensitive period. It is very important also for the sport technique. I hope that we will be able to connect everything then together. No, okay, and then the next important term is the window of opportunity. It is also called a framework of options or critical window. It is a period in which some actions can be taken. So some activities are performed to help us to achieve a desired result. So windows of opportunity is the period when the sportsman can learn his or her technique. So running, hoping, dribbling the ball, catching the ball, and so on. So it is impossible that we start to catch the ball with 2 years, because there is no, the window of opportunity to catch the ball is not opened. But with 4, 5, 6 years, we can start with the very simple exercises where the children can catch the ball, for example, dribble the ball, and so on. And it is very important from the point of view when to start some sports activities. And that is also very important that once the window of opportunity is closed, then desired result cannot be achieved anymore. So it means that we cannot postpone the beginning of the practice of the handball, for example, I don't know, to 20 years. So if somebody starts with 20 years, this window of opportunities is already closed. So he cannot anymore learn the technique which should be learned at 10 years, for example. So it is very important that we really find out the window of opportunity. and not to be too late with starting the training a correct technique of the players. Okay, now the next thing is laterality or lateral preference. So it is almost the same as we spoke at the beginning with the bilateral competencies. So it means that laterality is ability of the human being that we perform some actions better with the dominant limb than in comparison with the non-dominant. No, so most of the people have a so-called dominant limb, no, which is usually right. So it means that it is mastered or guided by the left brain hemisphere, which manages this right half of the body. And the number of left-handers, so the right-handers are in dominance. So the number of left-handers in the population is relatively small, around 10%. And statistics show that
Marko, ne vidi se PowerPointa.
Excuse me?
Marko, ne vidimo PowerPointa.
Oh. Samo malo. I will share once again. You should.
Zdaj pa okay.
You should say that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Okay, so we have statistics show that left-handed are more men than women. It's also very interesting, you know. If you compare now the good handball players in the women teams or in the men's teams, you will see immediately that there are much more men's good on this position than women. For example, you can still find right-handed players on the right wing, for example. In Slovenia, for example, in first division, there are many right-handed players who play on the right wing. No, it is because there are a lack of women left-handed players. And then is one more very important expression, so-called ambidextrity, and it is the state where an individual uses both limbs for different tasks, left and right hand, or left or right foot on the same level. So it doesn't depend on the learning process. It is already a natural state that some of the people have so-called ambidextrity, so the ability to use both limbs on the almost same level. No, there are only 1% of people who are naturally ambidextral. Okay, okay. I will show you one example of ambidextral player, which I took. Just a moment. I will just skip once again out. Sorry for the interruption. I have to just a moment. Is it okay? Is visible?
Yes.
Is okay. Okay. Now you can see now the one player, Marko Panic, who is really an excellent example of ambidextrous player. You can see now right back player, excellent shooting with the left hand. It is the footage from one of the latest matches on the European Champions League, Kiel Montpellier. And now, just a moment. Now you will see Now you will see something else. Okay, same player. So it is almost the same ability now to shoot with the right hand and the left hand. This player really excellent illustrate how important is that the players are almost equally skillful with one or another hand. No, it is now this ambidextrity is something extremely. So we cannot develop with the training the players to, for example, to shoot. I will explain it also a little bit later. So it doesn't work to spend too much time on the training with the shooting on the weaker hand. No, it is almost impossible. Now our nervous system and normally then also muscular tendon system is not able, even if we train a lot, to gain the same level of the knowledge with both hands. So it is just something what is characteristically for the natural ambidextral people. No, it's during my career I met some such players. They're really very rare, but they're very successful players also because of this kind of abilities. Not just right back. He can play also as a left back. He can shoot with one or another hand on the same level. So it is something. What is really nice to see, but normally it is just it is more from the explanation. What does it mean, the ambidextrity? So in physical activity, in sport, no, in handball specific, both brain hemispheres cooperate in controlling body movements. So there is not just the dominant hemisphere who lead our body to different actions. So both hemispheres are important for our actions. And now as a conclusion, most people or athletes make movements easier or more coordinated in one or more or other direction. So independent, or the people are right-handed, left-handed, they have the tendency to use more frequent one limb or another limb, one hand, another hand, and to normally to gain the space in one or another direction more frequently and better than on the other side. But it is the nature once again. But we as a sport teacher, as the trainers, we want that our players would be better, they have more bilateral competencies. Because of this, they will be less predictable. Any one of us, when prepare the game scenario, try to establish what are the weaker point of the player, or what is the strongest point of the player. And then many times we by analyzing see the player that perform most of his action on the right side. Excellent finta on the right side, but he's very weaker, much more weaker than on the left side. So it means that our instructions to the player who will be responsible for such attacker in the defense, our instructions will be careful. He's much stronger on this side than on the other side, and so on. So there are many actions which could be really easy recognized if we consider into the consider when analyzing these actions, also these abilities of the players to be better on one or onto the other side. And then normally we will be more successful if we will find out where are the strong things of the players, or a little bit where they are weaker, for example. No? And normally this is also a very important factor in the learning of sport techniques. No? Once again, we would like to have the players who have good bilateral competencies and who cannot be readable from the opponents because they are so unilateral. So this laterality or lateral preference must be covered as much as possible by the training. But normally, once again, it is not. It is impossible, even if we train extremely a lot, and if you have extremely good exercises. It is very difficult to avoid this kind of one-sidedness. But we would like to avoid this concept of one-sidedness normally as much as possible. So now, once again, now in handball, it's very important to learn how to use both limbs, left and right hand, how to start our run with the left and right foot, how to perform movement on the right side, on the left side, with the turns, and so on. So to implement all these things in our technique, not to be unilateral and have good actions just in one direction, as we could see also in the skiing pattern, for example, no, comfortable on the left side, uncomfortable to the right side. So it is something which derives from our brains again. So we must influence on our brains with a good learning process, so with a good training. No, we must influence that our body will be much more efficient, also in the weaker side. And with the weaker side. So it means both things once again. So using the left side, left hand, left foot, and normally you also to gain space on both sides. So, but it is not just valid for the field players. No, it is also valid for the goalkeepers, for example. I don't know if you sometimes can recognize the pattern of the goalkeepers who are stronger when they make a saves on the left side than on the right sides, or vice versa. So we made on our faculty also a short research when we try with special biomechanic equipments to measure. A very sensitive measurement, how the goalkeepers react on one side or on the other side. And a final outcome was that more proficient the goalkeepers were, less were the differences. So better the goalkeepers, less was the difference when they performed the saves on the right side or on the left side. So for the young, unskillful goalkeepers, there were a huge difference. So they have a nature of very good movement to the left side and much weaker movement to the right side. Now, and normally it is a good instruction also for the goalkeepers coaches. Now to put attention, to draw attention of the goalkeepers, not to make a lot of this kind of exercises on both sides, not just on one side. No, so it is also recognized. It can be recognized also on the matches. No, if you sometimes perhaps Mats on his lectures will tell you a little bit more about that, but it is very important that the goalkeepers are equally strong when the shot is coming from the right back than when the shot is coming from the left back or wing or something like that. So it is also very important that not just the field player that we not just put this attention to the field players, but also for the goalkeepers who also have to be bilateral, so-called bilateral. No. Okay, so it is one more expression very important for our topic, is so-called idiomotor phenomenon, which is a physiological phenomenon in which the subject subconsciously carries out the movement better on one side than the other side. I already explained more or less this during the previous explanations. No? Then one more thing is very important, no, for the coaches, from our point of view. This is so-called Carpenter effect. So there are many terms now which I want to explain. Or it is so-called mirror effect. So it is the effect of subconscious imitation. So it means that if somebody observe the movement of others, he subconsciously learn also the technique. That's why, for example, the childrens who regularly attend the matches of the handball easier gain the correct technique than those who never see the handball matches. No, if the children never see the handball in life, no, then they have problems to really get the impression where is the catch of the technique. And if the children normally attend to the as a spectators, or if they go with the father or mother on the training and then observe the players how they execute the player's technique, no, then he subconsciously learn this effect nearby. So not with the special trainings, just nearby. So mirror neurons are probably important for imitating and understanding the movements. No, it is very important or significant for the demonstration. That's why I always say for each coach, no, your first skill is to be a good demonstrator. You must demonstrate in a correct way that the players on the high level or the top level, or even children who never get the ball, get the correct impression. What do you want to tell them? No? And use this so-called Carpenter effect or mirror effect. So demonstration is extremely important for each coach. I will show you just one images. So the coach, that's me. So the coach must every time show the correct, and the players must observe, and with observing, they must get the correct impression. So we have two. We have also the verbal methods, explanation, but the explanation never get the same level of information than, for example, the demonstration. So demonstration is much stronger way of transforming the information than just vocal or just explanations. Okay. Okay. Now I will try to show you also some explanations. Now I will just I will continue just a few more minutes, and afterwards I will try to answer the questions and make this short break. So examples from other sports. So almost all sport games have the same problem. When I speak with our football experts or basketball experts, no, they have the same kind of problems. So these bilateral competencies are general problem for all sport games. No? For example, I will tell you some informations which derive from the different researches. Football, the side of the turn or laterality, this affects the effectiveness of agility of elite football players. So the results show that there are differences in turning on left or right. So with the special tests, they succeed to prove that, for example, when player is turning to one side, is better than when he turned to the other side. I will show you one example which we made by ourselves. And you can use usually see it is that are the tests which one of our colleagues made for the PhD thesis, and I'm his commission, so I recommend him to do such things which are strongly connected to the motorical performance of the young players. And you can see now also from the back side, the same situation, turn on other side. Now we can measure how fast he can turn on one side or on other side, how fast he can gain the good direction, and so on. So there are and normally there are differences. There are differences, and during the match, many of these situations occur when the players must turn on one or other side, and if the player is not able to turn and start his movement to the both sides on equal level, then it can provoke problems during the match. Okay, now if everyone agree, I can finish for the break, and before to start with some of the okay.
Okay, Marco. Okay.
Okay. Now I will start with okay. So one question is there are theories that the brain forms new networks when learning new movements and repeating performance. Yes, it is so-called synaptogenesis. So it means that the brain is plastic. It's not formed for the whole life on the same level, and it is a good information for us. It's important. Why? Because with a good didactic, with good exercises, with good training, we can change our brains in the way that they can send the muscles much more detailed information to improve our performance. So that is one of the most important things which derive from the so-called neuroscience. Next question. You should stay away as much as possible from displaying the wrong movements and only the correct movements to be received by the brain. Yeah, of course it is, and that's why it is the coach's responsibility. I tried to explain you a little bit before. One very important thing: demonstration skills. The coach must be able to demonstrate in a good way, to reinforce the good idea to the players, to use this carpenter effect or mirror effect of the mirror neurons in the brain, that they can, with a simple observing the movement of the coach, they can gain a good idea how to perform the certain movement. And even more important is that the players watch the game from the early beginning, from the fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th year of age, when they are able to understand a little bit the handball game, to go to the training, to observe the players, to go to the matches, and to observe. And it is extremely important to gain this kind of information. And it is also obvious. For example, in Slovenia, we have some centers where we have a third or fourth generation of the handball players, and it is tremendous difference. Not in general in the motorical abilities of the players, but there is a great difference between these centers and the clubs, where the players have no opportunity to observe the older players, because these players on the centers are always on the higher level, because they can learn by the way. They learn handle by the way. It is a very important part of the learning. Okay, there is a problem with Arab Gulf teams, which is the lack of players who throw the left arm. Is it possible to convert some players from throwing from the right to the left, as well as deception and other skills from the age 10 to 6? 10. Okay, now I hope that I already explained a little bit. My intention is that explain in the second part also a little bit more. But in the general, it is very difficult. So if somebody is naturally right-handed players, it is much better that you leave him to develop bilateral competencies, but not to change his laterality. So it means that you leave him to be the right-handed, but try to develop both much more the bilateral competencies. But we have also some examples. I don't know if some of you know the Russian player Vyakireva, women player Vyakireva, one of the best right backs in the world. There was the rumors or even explanation that she is naturally right-handed woman, but her father tied the right hand during the practices on her back and forced her to use just the left hand, and so she slowly became a left-handed player. Yes, it is possible. It is possible, but I don't know, with the normal means, let's say so, civilized means, it is very difficult to do it. So it's perhaps it is not so important that we develop left-hander from the right-hander. It is much more important that we develop at the right-handers bilateral competencies. How we can measure the development of right side or the left side? Just experience or observation, or there are objective measure? Yes, there are objective measure. I just show you this research of Zohal et Alter, who measured with a simple test, where the players on the signal they must turn on right or left side, and then they measure on which side the effectiveness of their moving were better. Well, it is one of there are many more possibilities. Jumping for the shot on the right foot influence the shot. Could the train players for research? Of course. There is a completely different technique when you jump from the left side or from the right side, and it is also the completely different situations when you use the jump shot. When we make push off from the dominant, so right-handed with the left, and non-dominant right-handed with right. So if I approach breakthrough approach to the 6 meter line as in the action of breakthrough, or as a wing player, for example, and so on, then normally I can choose right, push off with right or left, but then I have to use the completely different pattern of counter movement of the upper part of the body, the arm, and so on. So it's a completely different technique when I perform in one or other. But it is not. It is one of the possibility, to make very good bilateral competencies. So we must teach the players, or train the players, to be equally strong when they perform push up with the left or right hand. Normally, it is something what is possible. How long does it take for the brain to automatically build movement? Now, it's difficult to say, but normally, if you want to just to speak about the natural movement, like walking, jumping, running, it is something what is developed in this kind of sensitive periods. Walking, for example, start with 10 months, and then the skills of walking are developed in the some years. First steps are unskillful, and then after some months and years, the children became more professional in their movement, more equilibrial, and so on. How to train the players to reflexes? there are a lot of exercises. Perhaps we will have also opportunity to speak a little bit about that. But no, it is in any of these actions are very important that we train the players in the situational circumstances. So it means that our reflexes are always the answer to the specific handle situation. So it is not just the reflex as it is the reflex of the I don't know, on the street, for example. No, it must be the reflexes or the answer to the specific to something what occur during the specific handle situations. So we must develop a lot of exercises when the players can develop these kind of exercises, like as an answer to the specific situations on the playground. Okay, so now that's all questions. Just a moment, not.
You
just,
have one more.
Okay. One more question. One more question.
In Q&A section.
Excuse me. Yeah, one more question. Our body is asymmetrical, so our right side of body have more weight than left. Therefore, right side is stability and left is more push. Yes, yes, of course, it is the correct explanation. But now we must do something to equilibrate both sides. No, I hope that Primož Pori will speak a little bit more about that. But he is a real expert. He made a tremendous development of the Slovenian national team players who were very asymmetrical, and it was a great problem also due to the fact that they get a lot of injuries. So it is not just the question of the efficiency during the game. It is also the question of exposures to the different kind of somatic problems, injuries, and so on. So that's why we must do everything, to get more asymmetrical body, and with this also to gain more bilateral competencies. It's a very good question, and we can see many times when the handle players take off their t-shirts, there is obvious, so visible difference between the left, so dominant and undominant side. It's not good. It is not good, and it is something which can lead also from some other bad things, as already explained. So how we can measure the development on the right side and the left side, I already explained. One thing is this, let's say, observation. We can see during the matches or even during the training that someone is more professional on one side. But it is very important also that we insist from the players to make an action also from the side where he's not so professional, to build up the exercises where equally must gain the space on one side, on the other side, to pass the ball with, for example, or bounce the ball with left hand, and so on. So it is. I will try to explain it in the second part even more, also normally practically. So now I suggest 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, and then continue.
Okay, Marko, take your break. Okay, and then we continue. While we are on the break, I invite you all back to Slovenia.
Listen, traveler, it's too late to go back. Now, the forests have filled your lungs, rivers run in your heart. You have set the course for the land so green and abound with unspoilt nature that you will never be the same. You have come to Slovenia to live hand in hand with these natural riches is a deep-rooted gratitude locals feel every day. The respect for nature shows in the way we think, live, and do. Slovenia Green is a unique story and a great lesson in sustainability for the rest of the world. It began with a pledge to preserve the pristine nature for us and for you. We set out on a long, steep path and became active guardians of our natural heritage. Local communities and tourist providers have all come together to build a unique model of sustainability in tourism. Over a decade, we put together a visionary policy that nurtures everyone by the table. Today, we are one of the world's greenest destinations. We encourage you to visit us by train, bike, or on foot. On your way, you will come to understand why we included the right to clean drinking water in our Constitution. We believe in responsible observation of the mysterious wildlife. The inhabitants of our ancient forests can teach us all how important it is to protect our planet. When your step becomes heavy, it is time to rest. We think green accommodation should be as close to stars, birds, and trees as possible. We believe in the green inspiration from one generation to another, from one traveler to another. It comes with a view that overwhelms. To know how to listen to a tree is for us a way of traveling too. You can never cross the same stream, walk the same forest path twice. Our commitment and enthusiasm for sustainable tourism have been contagious. Today we stand united, together with you, dear traveler, under the vision of Green Slovenia.
Marco, if you're ready, you can continue.
Yes, okay. Immediately. Am I authorized to share the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's visible now.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. Now, then one exercise, one research also very important for our topic, Steckel and Carey, 2016, laterality effects on performance in team sports inside from soccer and basketball. So they found out that the level of ability to equally perform actions in a better and worse side, as we spoke before, reflects the athlete's bilateral competence. So they also find out that the very important is that the players are bilateral competent. So equally performance in better and worse side. That means normally the players who master the movements in both sides using one another are faster, more diversified, more effective than strictly lateralized players who need to radically adjust. Now the problem is that these strongly lateralized players need to radically adjust their performance to use the dominant limb or to conquer a space always in the same side. So this radical adaptation is very bad. So it is especially obvious, for example, also in football, where the players cannot perform the shoot with the weaker leg, and then foot. Then they try to adjust their position, but in a way that it is not so efficient as it would be if he can he can kick the ball with the both foot. Okay, now I will try to show one more video, which is also very important from our point of view. Okay, so you will see. I'll try to explain you one thing which is also very important for our technique, not just normally for the football technique. It is one thing which we have to take into consideration. I will try to stop in the right moment. Okay, now what is very important now? It is valid also for the football and for the handball. Now you can see here the movement, which can be easily also transformed to the handball jump shot, for example. No? So it is a collaboration in between the upper part of the body and lower part of the body. So legs, torso, and arms. No? So this kind of equilibration is very important. And when I spoke with the football experts, no, they claim that for the good shot, it's even more important than the leg with which the player kicked the ball. Also, the leg with which the player gained equilibrium. So if he is not able to make a good movement with the torso, arms, and the non-dominant leg, then also the dominant leg cannot perform a very good movement. And it is also valid for the handball shot. So the swing with our arm is the same thing, but it must be very good collaborated with other parts of the body. Now it is so-called bilateral. It is also so-called bilateral competencies. So when performed the normal handball element or football element, all parts of the body, independent of that which is on the dominant or non-dominant side, must perform well its task. So it is the whole body task. And it is the same. It is valid also for the handball shot. I show you just this footage because it is extremely nice to see how to make if the player want to make a good kick with the non-dominant leg, he must also make an excellent movement with the whole body. That is also, I hope that also for the colleague which asked me what is about the unequilibrated parts of the body, so left side, right side. So it means that it is very important that even for executing the normal elements of the handball with the preferred limb, with the preferred arm in handball, it is very important that the whole body is equilibrated, and on the equal level. So besides these empirical experiences and research, we can simply say that players who are not capable of bilaterality in the game are limited. So the action of these players are limited or very difficult. What we try already to everything to explain now. And although footballers have a highly developed ability to play with both legs, they will still use the dominant leg more often. So if they have the opportunity to use the dominant leg, they will use it. But in the situations where the action force the player to use the non-dominant leg, for example, they will use it. They will use it not perhaps on the 100% its same level, but very close to this level. So in any case, at least the top level of playing skill with the non-dominant leg and the non-preferred side is crucial for the successful implementation in football. That's derived from this research now. And as a conclusion, the authors point out that it is important to systematically integrate the non-dominant leg and the unfavorable side of the movement into all activities from the very beginning of the training in football. So their theory of the training strongly recommend that the players must use both legs by performing any kind of football actions. Normally, that the better dominant leg will be better, no, to increase more its skills, but still the most important thing is that not forget on the non-dominant leg and don't forget on the unpreferable side of the movement when design your exercises. Then authors of the similar research on basketball predict that extensive training of specific basketball content with dominant and non-dominant hand substantially reduces the biased use of only one hand, a strong tendency to use only left or right hands in the professional basketball players. So, and in the same research, the authors report that professional basketball players use a non-dominant hand in almost 28% in cases of ball contacts. So almost 28% of ball contacts are with a non-dominant leg, and 74% of all dribbling is executed. So almost the half of the dribblings are used with a non-dominant hand. It is also very important information for the handball. Now, why? Because if the basketball players is able to dribble in the left and the right side almost in the same way, and if they use, when they go to the left side, left hand, it means that also in handball, so in our sport, we must do the same. So when we try to gain space on the left side, we must use dribbling with the left hand. We must insist, even with the youngsters who strongly want to dribble on both sides with the right hand, that they use the left hand when they try to gain the space, and normally to do it with many different kind of exercises. No, then 70.6% of all targets are with non-dominant, and then 12% of all throws and 9% of all ball reception with a non-dominant arm. The higher the professional level of the players, the more they are bilateral. So the best players are the bilateral players. So for them it is equal on the left side, on the right side. They just adopt to the situation. If the defender allow the breakthrough to the left side, they will use the left arm. So they're able to answer to the situation in the natural way, in the best possible way, not in the way which is forced by his non-bilateral competencies. So from this comes once again also in the basketball. Now the theorists and practitioners, they recommend systematically training with both hands. No just dominant hand. And now what is important for the hand? Now switch to the handball. More simple tasks. So winning the space. With the ball, dribbling or no dribbling. So with the ball or no ball, players must learn and train on both sides. So dominant and non-dominant side. So here we must avoid one side is almost 100%. So, but in terms of gaining the space with the ball or without the ball, the players must be professional to do it on both sides. It should be just a small difference between these two possibilities. As much as possible, we must use the both hands. Then the more demanding or complex are the tasks. So, for example, shooting in handball in different technique. Normally, it is not particularly important to learn and train in depth with the non-dominant hand. So it means that it would be lost time if we put too much attention. No, it is very important. First two lines, very important. We must do it 100%. But to learn how to shoot with the non-dominant hand, it is sometimes waste of time, because never will players get this. They will never develop this ability with normal means, as I tried to explain before. So normally, if we will stick their dominant hand on the back, and tighten them, I don't know, with the rope, and to leave just to play with the left hand, then we will provoke this kind of new path to a new synapsogenesis, new network, a neural network, and so on. But I don't know if it is acceptable. No, so we must just choose the acceptable training means. And with acceptable training means, it is very difficult to the people who are naturally lateral, that they will gain the same knowledge or the same level of ability to shoot with dominant and non-dominant hand, even if we train a lot. But it doesn't mean that we don't encourage the players to do it, but not with an excessive training. Okay, now there are two questions. So didactic, methodic, windows of opportunity. Now I already tried to explain it from the early beginning. So we must try to teach our players from the early beginning to gain the space and to use both hands, and to, for example, all other motorical skills, to do it not unilaterally but bilaterally. So it is very important that young sportsmen are not unilateral, and later as senior players even more. So it means that here we have to use all this knowledge from the neuroscience and try to do as much as possible different kind of exercises which enable the players to be the equal skillful on both sides, and to use the both limbs on the let's say so equal level. Now I will show you some examples which for the end of the presentation will show you a little bit more this kind of bilateral competencies, and I will try to explain you during this footages where is the problem. So I choose here example of top level players when they use non-dominant hand by passing the ball. I choose two players. One is Slovenian center back player who play for the Magdeburg, and another one is Croatian center back player who is center back of the Croatian national team and center back of Barcelona team. But unfortunately now he's injured and he couldn't now participate on this great tournament on the World Cup which were finished now a few days ago. So first Marko Bezjak.
Dolenec.
During this action, you can see extremely good overtaking the ball with the left hand, which enable him to pass the ball, to make a good breakthrough, good finta on the left side, breakthrough to take the defender out of the possibility to cover the left back. And with this action, with the left hand, no, he enabled the left back player to make to be in a good position for a shoot. So all these actions. Once again, so and it is both things. So moving in the position and left hand. Now, if he maintained the ball in the right hand, then normally he could not perform the pass. You know, in this position, now he can do something and pass the ball to the uncovered player. Be careful. Once again, so left hand is he's really how to say, good side. No, that's just the hand to. Once again, so left hand, right hand, and pass. Once again, left hand. So it's really very important, but because with this action, he can stick together two players. No, and it's not just importance of his ability to make a good breakthrough. Okay, it is from a tactical point of view correct, but now if he want to release his hand in the way that he's able to pass the ball to the next player, he must use the left hand, and he used it extremely good. And again, two situations from this Club World Cup. You will immediately see the same pattern. And ability to pass. Now the left back players didn't use this good pass, but normally still I just want to show you how it works. Be careful once again. Oops. Okay, that's the previous one. Be careful once again. Movement on the left side, left hand, and good pass, which enable the players to continue. So it is a good example of a good player who is able to make. And on the other side, it's English the same. So he's also very skillful. So especially center back players, but not just center back players. All the players should master it on a good level. Now continuation was bad, but still. Bouncing the ball, receiving the ball, and pass with the left hand. It is so important that these bilateral competencies are exposed in these situations. Sorry.
Cortex, Shebetic.
Once again, left hand, to release everything with the left hand. Okay, then also the examples where the players gain the space equally on left or both or right side. So especially when they start to run on one side and then he must turn on the other side. It is in this changing of directions, these bilateral abilities are even more visible, much more visible. So the players who has this kind of bilateral abilities can gain the space in both sides equally. And it is very difficult for the defenders to cover such a players, to defend against these players. Also make some kind of graphic, just to illustrate even more these situations. It is extremely important that the players are able to execute his movement on both sides, so take a profit from the bad movement of the defenders, right? That's why it is also, I will tell you a little bit later on, it's a good news for every one of us, because handball is not anymore just the sport of the extremely high players with extremely developed muscles and great body mass, but anyone can play. It is informatical component is much more important, or it's even on the same level of importance than the body shape. No, so it is, and this kind of skills are very important for the players now to gain the space in the both sides. There is the space. So handle court is pretty great. So it is, players can make a lot. Both sides. Once again, it doesn't matter if the space is covered on one side, then I will take a space on the other side. No, if he is covered, no, it is so important. And these skills, bilateral skills, should be developed. It's always one of the best actions which I admire really very much. So once again, it's Indrich. I choose these players who are really now when he's already in the moving in one side, then in the situation when he gets the player on the so-called wrong foot, no, where he's not able anymore to move. No, then he changed the performance on the other side. But it is really a great skill. So it is the player must be extremely competent on both sides. So if not, he cannot perform that. And it is our task. So the coach that is our task to do it. It's not easy. Okay, now two more situations from the World Cup. Magdeburg won. And perhaps for someone is that surprise, but not for everyone. Now you can see it's extremely good performance of the right back once again. No, and once again it is also very important information for all coaches and for handball society that informational component is very important for handball players, not just the body shape. But it's not important that you are 2 meters tall and you have 120 kilos. Yes, it is still important. It is very, very good if you have an excellent body shape. But beside this, we have a lot of skills which we can develop. And with these skills, also the players who has not so good developed body shape can be very efficient. So in this, once again, this kind of bilateral skills are extremely important. And the same is also valid for the counter-attack.
9, first touch of the ball. Chimiokas again, 1-on-1 with Fabregas. Tries to go. It's stolen by Gigu. Gigu go.
We see now in the now he start to bounce the ball with the right hand, but then as he see that the player defender approach to him, he changed to the other side, who is a distance. With this, he gained the distance to the player, and it is very important, that he's able to bounce the ball, to dribbling the ball with the left hand near the line, with the same control as with a preferred hand. Okay, now two more situations of bilateral competencies of the handle press: breakthrough left and right. Once again, Tinguch is in the main role. Now, still good breaks right side. That's coordination, playing everything you want on the right side.
Now they counter-attack, they didn't go direct.
And the same player. The left side. And it is something which enables this player to be efficient on the top level. And there is no, for him, there is no differences. He can make the equal strong performance on the right and on the left side without losing his power. Okay, now for the end. If we meet ambidextrous, as it is a Marko Panic, for example, then we normally should leave the player to continue to use both limbs on the same time, to use it in a variety of the possibility. Also to change his position on the court from the left side to the right side, or to be the center back. I met some center backs as ambidextrous. So here is a lot of possibilities that we use ambidextrous if we met them. But ambidextrous, once again, is something else than the players who has dominant left or right side. So now I will show you once again one very good example in baseball. You will see the same player, the same pitcher. Now he used the left hand, and now he used the right hand. And on the same, it is an excellent example of the pitcher who use on the both sides. So he's excellent ambidextrous. Also in baseball, they have some pitchers who are almost on the same level with the both sides. Oh, and this guy is one of the most exposed players who are able to. It is the same. So it is almost the same biomechanical pattern when he uses left or right side. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Now here is the first page of the book laterality in sport. I strongly recommend any one of you who have more interest to in-depth study of this phenomenon, which really influence a lot our methodic training, performance on the playground, technique, tactic. If somebody want to study it a little bit in deep, I strongly recommend this book. It's really excellent, and I also learn a lot from this. Okay, so it is now all that I want to explain.
Thank you, Marko. So we have some questions.
Matis,
Yes, Nabil.
Matis, are you there?
Yes, Nabil, we are here. Nabil.
I'm afraid that we don't hear each other.
Nabil, we don't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
My question to Professor Sibila. In the international level right now, what would be like the necessity for the upcoming? We saw now the Olympics finished. Now we are going for the qualification of the World Cup. What will be the new tendencies for the upcoming handball, or the handball that we will see in the near future, from your point of view? Thank you.
One very important, from my point of view, one very important issue is that the tendency of selection just the players with extremely great height and body mass is not necessary anymore. Now we can observe a lot of extremely successful players who are not tall. Now, for example, a few years ago, everybody speak just about the tall players. Tall players, good shooters from the distance. Now, the technique of the handball, the model of the game of the players develop in the different way. Even with these skills that I try to explain today, the model of the match changed. The model of individual players changed a lot. So it means that the skills of the players are more important than their body shape. And we will observe more and more very skillful players with a lot of knowledge, a lot of information in their brains, so which will enable them to be very efficient. It doesn't mean that we that there is no necessity anymore to select the tall players with great body mass and so on. It is very important still. But on the other side, we must be very careful about this kind of small players, agile players, excellent information, who has a great bilateral competencies, as I tried to explain. So these kind of players, first of all, in the population, such players are not so rare. No, we have in the population 2-meter tall players. There are just a little number, no, a limited number of such people. But 185, 180, and 90. I speak now about the men's. So there are many of them, and many of them are very skillful. Are also trainable. No, they can get many informations, and that is the future of the handball, from my point of view. No, it's a lot of these players who will change the model of the game completely.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions from anybody else? Marco, we have 2 questions in the chat area.
Chat area, still, I think that there are, just a moment. How we can measure the development of the right side on the left side, just experience observation. Yeah, I just tried to explain you that is there are some procedures. I explained one of them. So Zohal et al. In this research, we also use this kind of procedure. So it means that the player just stand before the lights, and when the light turn on, the player turn on the right, on the left side. And there is also the central light. When this light is turning on, the player can choose which direction he will turn. And then normally measurement of the time of the turning, getting the correct direction of the turning on 5 meters, getting the speed of the turning. So we start to use it also in our battery test battery. Now for the assessment of the player's abilities, because it's very good test of this kind of bilateral competencies. And on the other side, there is a very good measurement system, and it is coach's eye. Coach's eye with a lot of experience can immediately see if the player have a tendency to make more actions on one side, on the other side, and then intervene with correct exercises, to put attention also on the other side, for example. And the same is valid also for the bouncing the ball. Dribbling the ball with left hand is extremely important. Dribbling the ball, passing the ball with left hand is, everyone must master that.
Okay, Marco, then now in the chat area, now you answer the Q&A. In the chat area, we have 2 questions.
But I think there is, I already asked them. There is no more question. It's one question, but I cannot read because it is in Arabic language.
No, this is Q&A section. You have a chat section also.
Chat section, I just check it, but there is nothing.
In the chat?
Okay. Okay, no, it's the same question that I already answered. Our body is asymmetrical.
Scroll down.
So our right side of the body have more weight than left. Therefore, right side is stable and lift is more push. Yeah, of course, it is the thing which we must equilibrate it. This equilibration is extremely important. Yes, if you will have a chance to speak with Primoz, Pori really develop a lot of exercises, just to equilibrate the body is the first and very important thing. And you can observe it also the same tendency in the tennis, for example. Tennis players were always unilateral, extremely unilateral. So it was obvious from with eyes. How their body shape is extremely different, and they see that it is very, very bad. So they make a lot of exercises also for the non-dominant part of the body. Very important. Once I try to explain it. With this football kick. Now, football kick is if one part of the body is not developed well, then also this well-developed part of the body suffer.
Okay, Marco. You have there is one chat just next to the share screen button. And
yeah, but my chat is not, there is nothing more.
Everybody can see it. It's not the Q&A, the one with the red.
Okay. How we can measure the development? I already answered it. How we can measure the development of the right side and the left side? Just experience observation. I already tried to explain. There are some possibilities to measure it. Otherwise, once again, the coach during the practice, during the training sessions, must observe the different actions executed by his players or her players, and then make an assessment on which level are players in these bilateral competencies?
I think
just a moment.
Yes.
Just a moment. Okay. No. I find it now too. Here more question. I will answer immediately. The rotation is very important here. Of course. So it is very important. But once again, so rotate on one side, on the other side is the same very important thing. It's once again it depends on the bilateral skills. And then is these skills are teachable, or is talent like Luca? Of course, it's the part of the talent. No, it's normally, but how many players could be close to his abilities? No, if they would have opportunity to train well. Once again, these things are trainable. So the neuroscience and the pedagogical sciences give us the idea that we can improve the players. Otherwise, the training would have no sense. But we must implement the correct exercises, correct training, correct programs. It is the basis. So if we will just train, I don't know, to play a little bit of football, then a little bit of shot, a little bit of playing, then normally the players will just remain on their talent. They won't develop nothing. But now the sport is so complex that just the talent is not enough. Talent is just the basis. Then they must these talents must train a lot. Then how important is proprioception and cognitive drills for development? Extremely important. It is the basis. So proprioception, but both sides. Once again, we spoke also about the tests. So when one of the most important informations which we get when we test the players on the in the drop jumps. Now every one of you knows the drop jumps. We test it on a bilateral plates. No, and then we immediately see with this press with one or other legs when the players land with one or the other hand, where are the problems which can then lead to the different kind of problems. No, so bilaterality also in these proprioception exercises are very, very important now. And cognitive drills extremely. You know, one more thing, for example, I know if you have also the eyedness. I know if you know this expression, what does it mean, eyedness? Each of us don't have just beside these ambidexters, each of us has also a dominant eye. I don't know if you know that. But also this dominant eye is very important and lead us in the certain, when we move in a certain direction. No, and we can easily get the information which is your dominant eye. So most of people have a right eye dominant. No, but it is perhaps something what you can do for your own task to get information. What is your dominant eye? No, it's once again, it's also very important for the sport. No? When we always observe the situation, get the information from the environment, from the situations, and elaborate this kind of information. It is important which eye is dominant also. But okay, it is now perhaps too much for our lecture.
Well, I think with this question, we can conclude our lecture tonight. Professor Shabila, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For being with us. I thank Matisse, I thank Ahmed, the translator, Ayman for their technical support, and I thank all the coaches for being here all night. And it's been a fantastic 3 days. We are looking forward for the 4th day tomorrow at 8:30 Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia time. Thank you so much. and see you tomorrow. Thank you, Matisse. Thank you, Professor Sibila.
See you
مشكورين يا شباب.
tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.